So we've got another set of barrel project beers to taste through today with Amir from our Unit 9 tap room.
Directly above the barrels.
Well, indeed, yeah. So a nice little synergy here. This set is a set of beers that are kind of close to my heart, close to yours as well. So the three beers in the kind of the hop elements of our pack this year all reference a kind of formative period in what our collective experience of enjoying hoppy beer, and that's thinking of like the West Coast beers of 20 years ago or 10 years ago by the time they started filtered through to the UK. What are your kind of memories of those beers and that time?
I think I sort of go along with a lot of people's memories of Sierra Nevada being a big point of reference. The first West Coast beers that I had that tasted like nothing else I'd tried before. And I remember actually being in Port Street and having it on tap once. I think I'd been to San Francisco a couple of years before, so I recognised the name. Then I had it in the UK, and it was just this big explosion of piney flavours. And I think that was probably my first reference point with big West Coast beers. And then I found out about Torpedo, and that. Yeah. That's all I needed to know.
For most people, I like and this beer, the feeling of humanity is very much in that kind of Torpedo. We mentioned Stone Ruination before. That kind of realm, isn't it? You know, it's unusual in that it's spent time in a barrel for a hoppy beer, but we dry hopped it before bottling, and actually like that, the little oxidation that you get from it is very reminiscent of the beers that we had at the time in the UK.
Because that's all we were experiencing. We didn't realise that they weren't fresh beers. It's not something that really occurred to me. So now I do recognise oxidisation in beer, and you realise that actually sometimes it can be a good thing. You know, it brings out different flavours, and I know we're going to talk about another beer shortly that really benefits from that sort of thing. And those big pineapple juice, pineapple cubes sort of flavours come out thanks to a little bit of oxidisation. And immediately take me back to, like you say, Stone Ruination or old cans of Torpedo, that sort of sweetness to them.
Yeah. So I always perceive it as like a caramelly kind of vibe as well, you know, and I think with this, because you have that initial pineapple-y caramel thing going on, and then it's so zesty all the way through, and it's a real punch on the finish, isn't it?
Yeah, like an orange peel sort of zestiness.
How closely do you think it resembles those beers? It's hard to remember now. It's a beer I can see myself drinking a lot of.
Yeah.
So this triple IPA is not your usual triple IPA.
No.
But the addition of Brett to this, it's kind of extending the concept of the first, but that Brett addition really sort of drying out the sticky sweet base, and taking this beer from what could have been, I don't know, like a modern barley wine territory, back to that kind of, and referencing those West Coast beers still. Like the aroma's amazing, isn't it?
My first thought on the nose, apart from the juiciness, is the spice that you get from the Brett. You know, it feels like a West Coast Orval on the nose.
It does, yeah. Which is one of my all-time favourite beers. That journey that it can go on throughout the course of its life in bottle is incredible.
Which makes me wonder what this would taste like over time.
Exactly, yeah. As that spiciness, that funk is already there, and how is that going to build in, say, 2 years?
Yeah. So we've got to buy a case and just keep trying it every 6 months or so.
Yeah.
I can almost not tell it's 11%, is it?
Yeah.
Because it dries out so nicely, it just makes me want to go back for another mouthful. So I will do.
And you can
so
do.
I'm gonna.
So the third of these beers we've got is the only one that wasn't dry hop prior to bottling, and you really notice that it's an American style barley wine in that heavy hot side hop addition. But now that sweetness really comes through, aided by like a timing Marsala barrel.
Oh, right. So that gives it a bit of a sherry port, white port sort of edge to it then.
Yeah, very much so, yeah. There's like a real rich sweetness that runs through it, isn't there?
The Sabro in it's really interesting because that gives it a creaminess at the end that just softens the sweetness at the same time, weirdly, or it complements the sweetness maybe. But you're still left with a nice bitter finish. And now I can feel it there.
It doesn't sit cloyingly on the palate in the way I expected it to. You get all those like you say, sherry, white port vibes going on, but it's not really heavy. It does clean up with a bit of bitterness. Yeah. The Sabro adds, it's the mouthfeel as well as the flavour. It really smooths it out.
It's not too sticky in the mouth, is it? Whereas you know, a lot of the time they do tend to be. It feels like syrup, but that, even though it's still a sipper, it's easily drinkable. You don't feel like you don't want to touch it again for a while. No,
exactly, yeah. So it's that progression through the day as well here that we've gone on with these beers. This feels very much like the finisher, that, you know, something to have late on at night when everybody else has gone home. You've got a bit of time to yourself and
in front of the fire. Yeah, definitely.
I wish I had more than just a cheap gas fire now. Cheers.
Cheers, on to you.